I'm so excited to be here this afternoon to talk to you about one of the governor's priorities that is so important and how we are so anxious to work with you to make this a success. I think, as many of you know, the governor's priority is to provide parents and guardians with easy access to individual school information. He believes that a world-class education system requires, amongst other things, transparency, including more information for parents and guardians to make the right decisions on where they want to send their children. The School Finders website, which was launched in July of 2008, provides that capability. The parents and guardians can get on and actually see a side-by-side comparison of all of the factors that they need to make a decision around their children's future education. It's a terrific basis and a real start point for a comprehensive data system. It's important to the governor, and has been important to the governor, to continually add new features to make sure that parents and guardians are really seeing the site as being more and more value. And that's where we want to work with you, and we would welcome your cooperation. We want to add before and after school programs to the website, because those are such an important distinguishing factor in the kinds of programs that you provide. So what we'd like to do today is to walk you through the website, walk you through the way that you'll be submitting that information, and then answer any questions that you have. Because again, this provides an opportunity for all of us in California to continue to improve the education system. And we really need your input and your help to make this happen. So with that, what I'd like to do is to introduce Greg Weber, who has been instrumental with his team in bringing School Finders to fruition. And he will then present the demonstration, and then members of the team will take questions. So Greg?
Thank you. Thank you, Terry. I'd like to go over the agenda for today's event and then introduce our primary speaker, Jim Estes. The first part of the demonstration will be the School Finder website itself, and that will consist of a brief overview of the features that are in the School Finder website. And then next, Jim will demonstrate the before and after school program data entry screens and how the school districts and the Office of the County Office of Education can enter the information into the program so that it will show up on the Web Finder site, the School Finder site. Finally, we will respond to questions from the audience, and you can submit your questions to us at the email website called schoolfinder@dhcs.ca.gov. That's schoolfinder, one word, at dhcs.ca.gov. It was flashing on the screen earlier with the agenda, and if you have any questions, please direct your comments to that email website, and we will pick them up throughout the meeting, and we'll respond to them at the end of the meeting. Thank you. Without further ado, I'd like to introduce Jim Estes, who worked on the School Finder application itself, and he will be demonstrating the School Finder program and before and after school entry screens. Thank you.
Thank you, Greg. Right now, I'd like to start out with a brief overview of the School Finder application itself, for those of you who are not very familiar with it. This was mandated by Governor Schwarzenegger, and the main features of School Finder are: it allows parents to easily find, compare schools side by side, and easy to use and easy to navigate website. Provides a side-by-side comparison of metrics such as graduation rates and API scores, as well as information on student support services and advanced placement courses. It also allows parents to search for schools by school name or geographic location, and it provides data on schools in every region of California from elementary to high school, and includes traditional and alternative and charter schools. At this point, we're going to go into the School Finder demonstration. What you see now is the School Finder homepage, and basically it allows you to enter a search address. It also provides information about the School Finder website itself. It provides online help information that instructs you on how to use the site. At this point, I'd like to go over the features of School Finder. Basically, what we can do with the site is we can put in a geographic location, such as an address, a zip code, or a city, and we can focus in on different school types within a radius of that location. So right now, I'm basically entering the address. And I want to see all high schools within 5 miles of that address. So again, I entered the address, selected the school type of high school, entered the radius, and now I'm going to press the Go button. The results of my search are displayed in both a map format on the top of the page, with the schools shown as pushpins on the map, and is also shown in a list format down at the bottom of the page. At this point, what I can do is I can view details of each school. That gives me an actual aerial map of the school, its address, a link to its district website, a link to its SARC website, and the key performance metrics of API scores, number of students, dollars per student, student-teacher ratios, graduation rates, and California high school exit exam scores. It also shows you student demographic information, basically by ethnicity, what the percentage of enrollment is by each ethnicity. It also provides you with a list of advanced placement, student support, and special education courses that are offered at that school. Once you focus in on the schools that you're looking for, you are able to compare schools by adding individual schools to a compare list. So at this point, what I want to do is I want to compare Rockland, Whitney, and Roseville high schools. So I'm going to add each one of those to my compare list. Down here it tells you how many schools you have in your compare list. Then if I want to actually compare those schools side by side, I click on this button here, compare schools in my list. Then I can select those individual schools and see them in a side-by-side manner where I can easily compare the performance metrics of each school. At this point, I'm going to switch over to the School Finder Before and After School Programs admin. Governor Schwarzenegger requested that BASP data, before and after school program data, be added to the School Finder website. Detailed information about these programs were not available from the California Department of Education, and no existing method existed to capture the BASP information. The School Finder BASP website was created to capture BASP information. This site will be available 12/4/2008 and will be accessible through the URL listed here. HTTPS, that's very important. That will be what they call a secure site because it will require a login. And the rest of the URL is www.schoolfinder basp.ca.gov. The School Finder BASP website allows county offices of education across the state of California to enter before and after school program information for each school within their jurisdiction. The BASP information is added to the School Finder website on a weekly basis. So if you enter the information, it will not be reflected on the site until the next published date, which is reflected on the BASP website. How it works. A website has been established to capture this information. Each county office of education will be issued a user ID and password that will be used to access the School Finder BASP website. Once logged on to the BASP website, the county office of education will be able to select from a list of districts and corresponding schools within their county. Once the user has selected a school, the BASP website will allow the user to select from a predefined list of program types. The user can then enter a more specific description of the programs offered in both English and Spanish. At this point, I'm going to show you the BASP website itself. As I mentioned before, each user will be required to log in with a user ID and password. You will also be required to enter a security code that is displayed on the screen. This helps prevent online hacking attacks or automated attacks against the site. After I log in, the county that I'm associated to is displayed here in the county text box. I'm associated to Sacramento County. At this point, I can select any district within my county. So I'm going to select Elk Grove Unified. At that point, I can select the school type to refine my search. I'm going to select elementary. And then I can select a specific elementary school within that district. I'm going to select Carroll Elementary. At this point, the BASP data entry screen is displayed. The first thing I need to do is determine if the school offers after-school programs or not. If I say yes, I'm able to enter additional information about the school. If I say no, then what will happen is that no programs provided will show up in School Finder. So at this point, I'm going to click yes. I'm able to enter the SARC web address. It's a School Accountability Report Card. I can go down here and select one or more program types. At this point, I can also put in details for the program type. In both English and Spanish. Okay. Then I can basically decide what I want to do with this information at this point. I can choose to save and publish the information, which would cause the information to be published to the School Finder website at the next publish date. I can save and exit, which would save the information and allow me to return to it. I can cancel, which would cancel me out of my edits and return me to my main menu. Or I can roll back. Roll back basically would allow me to pull in what is currently in the School Finder website. For this particular school, the data has not been published yet, so that I would get no information. So in that case, we might want to, if we added some additional data, but we decided we didn't want that data, we could roll back to what's currently in School Finder and start over. At this point, I'd like to provide you with a little bit more detail about entering programs. Each program detail needs to be on a separate line, and the way I accomplish that is I enter the first line, I hit my enter key, that brings me to the second line, and then I enter my second program. That's very important for having your data displayed correctly on the site. Okay. The program types that are predefined are under academic and consistence, mathematics and science, mentoring services, reading, language and arts activities, remedial education, tutoring, special education services, and others. The others box would be used if the programs provided do not fall into any of the predefined categories. We also have family literacy services, adult education, employment and interview support, English language literacy, interactive literacy activities, parent literacy training, and others. Under the enrichment category, we have arts, music, and education, career technical education, counseling, and charter education, recreational activities, violence and drug prevention, youth development, nutrition education activities, and others that are not listed here. So at this point, I'm going to save and publish my data. Okay. And then if I go back to that school, okay. Basically, it's going to give me a next published date, and it's going to tell me when the data was last modified. Okay, so that tells me that the data is scheduled to be published. So what I can do now is I can go to the School Finder website, and I can show you what this data looks like once it gets published out to the School Finder site itself. So I'm searching for a specific school name, Elk Grove Elementary. Found that. I'm going to click the View Details button. It brings up the View Details page that we saw in our earlier School Finder demonstration. It provides, again, the aerial view, the key performance metrics, and the before and after school programs. What we have mathematics and science, which was the predefined category that we checked. We have Math Lab 1 and 2, and we have tutoring services. Okay? And this is viewing the English site. If I go back to my School Finder homepage, and I say I want to view the Spanish site, and I look for Elk Grove Elementary, and I click View Details. It will show me the before and after school programs in Spanish. The program types that you check are translated automatically. Any details that you put in will need to be supplied in Spanish if you want them to be available in Spanish on the Spanish site. If the details are not put in Spanish, the English details will show up in the Spanish site. That's a very important distinction. And so enter them in Spanish if you can. That makes the data more consistent for Spanish speakers. Okay. At this point, that concludes the demonstration of the BASP application, and I'm going to hand it back over to Greg Weber.
All right, thank you, Jim. We'd like to now begin taking questions via email. Again, the site that you can submit that to, or the email you can send it to, is schoolfinder@dhcs.ca.gov. We don't have any questions yet, so before we begin answering any questions, I'd like to acknowledge and thank a lot of the people who have been involved in the development of the website and the before and after school program entry screens. The School Finder website has been a collaborative effort between many state departments in California state government. Susan Ronbach, Kirsten Shepard, and Vincent Stewart of the Governor's Office of the Secretary of Education have been key in providing guidance to this project. Terry Takai and Christy Quinlan from the Office of Chief Information Officer. Jim Estes and Robert Kalman from the Department of Healthcare Services in their efforts to produce some of the programming and data entry for the School Finder website. The Department of Education for providing most of the data that goes into this website. Also, the Department of Transportation has provided the video and audio support today through Rick Wilhelm, and we thank them for their support. And we'd especially like to thank all the schools, the school districts, and county offices of education for their work in providing the data and input to the School Finder project. We'll now move on to the question and answer session. You'll have about 20 minutes to submit questions, and we'll take up until 2:30 to answer any questions. Steve, do we have any questions yet?
Not yet.
Please submit your questions if you have them. Do you want to put up the first screen that shows the the address for questions?
Looks like we have our first question.
There we go. Leave it there.
So looks like we have our first question. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Our first question is from Beth Andreessen. Her question is, what do we do if one or more of our schools is not found in the School Finder webpage?
Who'd like to take that question?
I will. We get our data from California Department of Education, so we should have all the schools that are reported by CDE. One possibility is that it is either hidden by another school. We found that to be a possibility if they're located very closely together, or the address is incorrectly geocoded and we don't have it in the right geographic area. Again, that data is provided to us by CDE. So what I would try to make sure that to make sure the school is not actually there is to search for it geographically, and then to search for it by name, and then on the CDE on the School Finder website there is a comments email link, and if you do that and then you can supply us the school name and address, we will research that school and make sure that it is in the School Finder application.
Jim, while we're waiting for more questions, can you show them where that link is on the School Finder page? So any problems that are that they have with the School Finder website reporting incorrect data or missing schools can be reported through this?
They would use the Contact Us link here.
Okay. So school districts would click on Contact Us, and the contact information for an email address would pop up as well as...
Correct.
Is there phone numbers?
Actually, the Contact Us information would be, they would go to a contact page, and they would be able to type their comments in that contact page and submit it, and that will go directly to us.
Okay. I'd like to remind folks that the things that you're seeing on the screen today are not our production website. Those addresses that appear on the screen, the app test at intra.dhcs.ca.gov, those are our internal test and development environments. So the website that you would go to is, Jim, can you give me?
www.schoolfinder.ca.gov.
And
is
we
the
have the
School
other
Finder
one.
application, and the School Finder BASP website is
Yeah.
www.schoolfinderbasp.ca.gov.
So in order to enter your data for the School Finder program, to get your before and after school program information into the website, you'll need to go to the https://www.schoolfinderbasp.ca.gov. Do we have any more questions?
Our next question comes from Glenn Harris, and the question is, what is the process for obtaining a username and password?
I'll take that. Each of the county offices of education have been assigned one logon and one password. Those were sent out from the state office of the Secretary of Education. Okay. I need to correct that. They will be sent out by the Office of the State Secretary of Education. The actual production website will be available by 12/4, so it will not work today if you go to it. But as soon as you get the letter with the password and username, you will be able to go into the website. The website address will also be given on that letter that goes to the County Office of Education. It will not go to individual school districts or schools. Do we have any more questions?
Not at this time.
Leave the screen up there with the address for the website. There we go. Do we have any questions or clarifications from any of the people in the room here? Do you want to make any comments? This is Susan Ronbach from the Office of the Secretary of Education.
Hi. Thank you again for all your help in getting the word out on this webcast. We really appreciate your participation. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to put this data up here. One of the questions we received in our office just recently is, for those who aren't able to participate today, will the webcast be available for viewing after today? This webcast is being taped, and we are working on a mechanism by which to do that. So stay tuned, and if you would, we'll be sending out probably a web. We'll have that on our website, how that will be worked out. Okay, thank you. And I think, I had a question, technical question actually. In the overview, when we showed Rockland, the SARC address was empty. Is that something that districts and counties have to enter themselves?
That's correct.
Okay.
The
So
school.
clarify that. Sorry.
That's correct. The districts will have to enter the SARC website for each individual school.
Okay, thank you.
We have another question. This is from Sue Gott. It says, you mentioned that county-level staff will get codes to enter data for BASP. Will district-level staff gain that access too?
I'll take that question. We, instead of sending out 1,100 passwords, we decided it would be more manageable if we gave out passwords for the 58 counties and leave it to the discretion of the county superintendent's offices and the county superintendent, him or herself, to designate their counties and give them the passwords. But that's up to them. We're not going to be directing them on how to do that, or if they should do that or not. And then in turn, if the districts want to give it to their schools, I just want to be clear that the accountability, as more people are given the passwords, the accountability is or may be a problem. Thank you.
We don't have any more questions at this time. We're still receiving questions from via email. Again, that site is schoolfinder@dhcs.ca.gov. Rick, is this screen being shown right now? Okay, it doesn't look like we have any further questions from the audience. We're going to wrap it up here, and we will continue to take questions at the website that we mentioned, the email address that we mentioned, and we'll answer them individually and reply to your questions. It looks like we have one more question coming in.
This question comes in from Laura Trahan. The question is, will COs be solely responsible to enter BASP data, or will districts be able to enter their own information?
Ron, you want to take that?
Hi. Maybe I didn't articulate it correctly the first time, but the passwords are only going to the county superintendents, and it will be up to the discretion of the county superintendents and their offices on passing that information to their districts. And again, that's at their discretion to do that, so the districts can, and it may be easier for the districts to do that. So that would be up to the counties.
Are there any further questions from the audience? We'll wait another 5 minutes and then we'll cut the question and answer period off. Thank you.